Good afternoon, guys, and happy Sunday to all of your sunshiny faces. It's weird. Yesterday I felt like it was Sunday. Today it feels like it's Saturday. I felt like I got a ton of stuff done yesterday, and while we did get a ton of stuff done for today, I just felt like the day went by really fast. I did sleep in kind of a little bit. I slept until about 10 o'clock or so, maybe 8, 9 something. But me and my dad had to run out to Menards again to get to the couple of things that we needed to finish our drawer. Do you guys see this? This drawer is in here right now. I'll open it up for you guys and show you guys the drawer that we made from scratch with literally nothing but an outline of what the old drawer looked like. But I should actually show you guys. It is currently in the like garage garbage can. How horribly twisted up. Maybe I actually did show you guys when the stuff was sitting in it. But it was horribly twisted up front corner, and like the back right corner were completely like twisted, like just, it was crazy. And it looked ridiculous. So we had to get, again, a couple of little things for that today. So we finished making that while we were able to get those pieces that we needed. And then on top of that too, they had 2 left at the at Menards when we went yesterday, and we were planning on going to get it next week, but since we were running out again today that we knew we were going to, I ended up actually using the rebate, 2 of the mail-in rebates. It ended up covering, I think, $35 or something like that, plus we also had a return that we had to make that was like for 12 something. So I think in total it ended up covering like close to $50, and I think it was $110 or $120 or something like that. So we ended up paying about like half of the actual retail price. The other we didn't pay for because we used the rebates, and then also the money for the return as well. So it was pretty good. Like I said, we ended up paying for that and got the arbor because we've got a problem right now. Our rose bush that is outside is currently not on anything, and it is just growing into the vegetable garden, and it looks all kinds of crazy. And so maybe next week, possibly, we can get that actually put together and out in the over by the rose bush, because we got it so that we had sort of an entryway into the vegetable garden that looks kind of nice and stuff like that, but also so that we can have something that the rose bush will go on top of, because as of currently, again, it is on nothing, and it is just going straight into, either it's on the ground too and in one of the flower beds, so you just, like, if you are going towards that and you don't notice it, will wind up getting stuck by the rose bush. And it's kind of crazy, and it's out of control, and it needs something that it can actually sort of, you know, cling to. And we've tried to use like trellises and stuff like that, but it gets so long that I feel like having a nice arbor that it can go climb up and then go over and stuff like that, it will be fine. So and it shouldn't get, I don't think the canes or whatever, you know, the stalks sort of, they won't get any longer than that. So it will be good, but luckily it will stay like away from you know, sort of, you know, again, just to keep it out of the vegetable garden, to keep it up off the ground, to keep it, you know, out of the way, sort of, because at some point, once it starts to get too tall and too heavy, they just fall over and they flop and they start going off in one direction and then in another direction, and again, it's kind of in the walkway right now. So that would be super awesome if we can get that put together next week, but we ended up getting that. So that was one of, we knew going to be like one of the bigger purchase things, and it wasn't something we were going to build or put together and make ourselves. My mom would like to get a wooden one. Maybe eventually we can, but I feel like this one is just not super cheap. I mean, it was $100, but like one of the super expensive like wooden, you know, ones and stuff like that. So although it is really nice, it actually has like some lanterns that are supposed to be on there too or something like that as well, which is kind of cool. So yeah, but again, we should be able to get the rose bush to actually sort of cling on to and go through the arbor. So anyways, but we ended up also going there to get today. But I will show you guys the drawer. So here it is, guys. We built this, like I said, from scratch. So the type of track that we got is actually like a soft close, so that it doesn't like slam or anything like that. And also too, it was the one that would hold the most weight. It holds 100 pounds compared to the other ones, which only held like 75 or 80 pounds and stuff like that. This one held 100, plus it was also a full extension. So what that means is that you see all the way to the end of the cabinet, or the end of the drawer, because before our old one you would only see up until about like this point or so, and you'd have to just root around with your hand in here to try and pull the stuff out that you weren't able to actually grab. So the fact that this comes all the way out and we can see everything that's in here and actually get to all the stuff in the drawer, we don't have to worry about, again, a whole lot of, you know, missing things and stuff getting shoved in the back and lost and stuff. So this is a super cheap, like, dollar store one. We'll probably wind up getting a nicer one from maybe Menards. They sell like the wooden ones and stuff like that, but I did try and not organize it. This is just sort of like extra, you know, utensils and stuff like that, and things that are just extra stuff, like our meat thermometer, like our a bottle opener and can opener, and a, you know, this is a what's that called, a candy thermometer. You know, we have our collapsible measuring cups. These are all of our little like pokey things that, again, if you do wind up rooting around in here, will wind up stabbing you. So they're all in here. Some of them I think are the little cheese forks, and then also too, like the corn on the cob, you know, little pokers. And then this in here, because these always go all over this thing in place, are just like the medicine cups and stuff like that for measuring the medicine. So yeah, that's, like I said, we have most of this stuff is sort of organized, but this one's way too small. We need a bigger one to hold our what's it called, our like forks and our silverware and all that kind of stuff. And then this is sort of all measuring cups or measuring spoons and things like that. Then it just closes, guys. It works, it closes. This is a little hard, but it's just actually the soft close part, and it's a little off. There's some imperfections, obviously. This is not like factory made cabinet or anything, or drawer. I keep saying cabinet. Factory made drawer. Again, we made it ourselves, but we, without spending probably an arm and a leg, because it really did not cost us that much to get the wood and materials to put together, maybe like $20 or something like that. But it seems like to get one custom, because I don't know if that's a traditional size drawer, to get one not custom made, but even to get one and order it, it still costs a lot of money to get like a replacement drawer. I don't know why they cost so much, even just for the box part, because like we were planning on saving and keeping the front part of the old one anyway, which is what we did, and we just made the interior of it, right? And for some reason, again, trying to find and or buy them is like impossible. Like, you can't. Basically they just want you to replace the whole stinking, you know, the whole cabinetry piece. And so me and my dad were like, okay, well, you know what, we can figure this out and work around this and try and get this together. The method that we were originally going to use yesterday, we were facing some stumbling blocks, and so then again, to make sure that it was still supported well in the bottom and everything like that, and again, the sliders can hold up to 100 pounds, so we wanted to make sure that the drawer itself wasn't too heavy, and then also at the same time too, the bottom of the drawer wouldn't give out if it was holding too much weight. And obviously there's not a whole ton of stuff in there, because now that we do have the other two drawers over on this side as well, we actually moved a lot of the larger utensils, can openers, and, you know, other sort of bigger things, ice cream scoops, and you know, this is the garlic press, you know, those type of things, a lot of that stuff into this drawer. Whereas we used to have it on the countertop, and some of the stuff was also in that other drawer because it was the only one we have. And then we had that black spinning sort of thing. We just have this now, and this is for utensils that we probably use the most, like pasta things and a couple of like spatulas and wooden spoons and stuff like that. That stuff's all in here just because it's fastest stuff that we normally use on the stove and things like that. And so now that we don't have, again, that big black, it was like a carousel sort of thing that held a lot of our bigger utensils, and, you know, cooking sort of stuff like that, that was here. We actually have a ton more, what feels like a ton more counter space right now too, and I do have some dirty dishes I have to get to, but we have like, okay, so there's literally one thing on that countertop, and then over here, other than my avocados that are currently sitting there, we have the water pitcher, which normally we don't always leave. It kind of floats around in different places, but the only other thing is a KitchenAid. So out of this whole countertop, which is really the only countertop that we have, and especially too before the kitchen remodel was the only countertop that we had. Before we had what is the coffee bar now, and then this, which does not yet have the butcher block on it still, because it's been too hot to put the sealant stains stuff, whatever that's called, on there. It's supposed to be like, I think a maximum of 85 degrees or 80 degrees or something like that, between like 70 I think and 80 degrees, and it's been like 90s consistently for the last couple of weeks, it seems like. And so my dad hasn't been able to do that yet, so we haven't been able to put it up. So anyways, before we had any of that, you know, before sort of kitchen remodel thing that happened, this countertop, which was again the only countertop in our entire kitchen, this little, you know, spot right here, and then this one that's back here, we had a microwave, we had the big black spinning carousel thing, we had this, we had the KitchenAid, and I think that was it. But again, you're talking about, that was the only countertop we had, and we had huge big appliances and all kinds of other stuff that was taking up tons and tons of space. Now we have like so much counter space. It's crazy. Plus on top of that too, like I said, we added the stuff that's over there. I mean, this we had here before, but we didn't really use it as like part of the kitchen, sort of. It was more part of the living room. But now that we have the counter space that's over there too, and we, you know, this stuff over here, I've noticed that I've been using and standing and working on this counter space a lot more recently, just because of its relationship to sort of like the rest of the cabinetry in the kitchen. So it makes the space, I think, flow and just work so much better and everything like that. So honestly, adding this stuff was probably the best thing for this kitchen at all. This house is really probably not built for the amount of, like, I want to say it's not built for the amount of people that live in here, but it is a 3-bedroom plus bonus room house. You know, it's got the two main bedrooms that we use as bedrooms downstairs, my parents and my mom's, or my parents and my bedroom. And then the back room, which is technically classified as a bedroom, but it has the back door, so it's really awkward. Again, you're hosting a party here and everybody's walking through the bedroom to go outside, or, you know, we let the dogs out and they're running through people's rooms and stuff like that. It's just not a lot of privacy too because of that. And it has the big back sliding doors and all that kind of stuff. So again, it's classified as a bedroom. We use it as the office, as my mom's office. And with the chair in there too, we use it as a sitting room because we all watch the birds in the backyard as well. So again, it's a 3-bedroom, and then the upstairs is technically a bonus room, about half of the size of the house. The other half is the attic, but the upstairs has a slanted roof because it is it's dormered out on that side. So again, you lose sort of a little bit of space because it's not totally all dormered out. But it's Matthew and Jack's room plus sort of like a family room, and my dad has his desk upstairs too. So you know, again, it's really a 3-bedroom house plus a bonus room. So you'd expect it to be a pretty big house, but it doesn't have a formal dining room. And so again, the space that we do have in here too, like we could have a nice big island if we had a separate dining room and we didn't have this table here, but we don't, so we have to have that here. But I think because of that too, because technically this side over here is really more the dining area. And again, because of the whole space and stuff like that, it doesn't, we've never been able to have it really flow really well in here. And the kitchen space too, like I said, this is all of your kitchen space sort of in here. It's not a really big kitchen, and we don't have a whole ton of space to work with. And again too, when we buy food, we like to buy in bulk. We like to stock up, buy a big thing of vinegar, we buy a big thing of flour, we buy, you know, it's just not everything can fit in this kitchen. Plus on top of that too, all of the appliances, the, you know, our Tupperware, our, you know, plates and bowls and all that kind of stuff don't all fit really perfectly in this house. So having and adding this extra cabinet space has really been amazing. But I showed you guys too in yesterday's vlog, we added the extra shelf in the bottom of this cabinet. I showed you guys that earlier in the day too, before we even put it in, and then afterwards showing you guys the start of the work of that drawer yesterday. But again, adding some of those extra things, just an extra shelf in that cabinet, or, you know, adding in, you know, extra, having to, I think this be now like a full extension drawer, is again easier to find things when they're shoved in the back of the drawer. We won't lose them, and we won't forget that we have them. We won't not be able to find them. We won't, you know, it actually adds a little bit more space because stuff doesn't just get shoved back there and we forget about it. We pull it out and we can see everything that's in there. And then on top of that too, though, having an extra drawer in that one that's back there, and we can keep the bigger utensils, it makes it so that we can actually see stuff a little bit better too, so that things don't get lost all in one drawer. So anyways, yeah, I feel like it makes the space, it works, it flows so much better. The whole kitchen dynamic in this whole place is just way better. Again, it would be awesome if we actually had a formal dining room, and then we could get rid of this and have an actual island here too, and have more counter space to work on. We don't. So, you know, our dining table is right smack dab in the middle of the kitchen. This is sort of the island. Could we do and make like an island with, you know, a foldable, collapsible sort of, you know, wings, I guess, sort of, whatever you call those, and have that, you know, sort of work as a double kitchen table and island? Yes, that would be so cool. Could we do it at some point? We built a drawer today. I think we can maybe come up with something, but no, that would definitely have to be like a way long-term thing. But again, just like all this stuff that we've been doing has been working really well, and has been making everything work so much better. So our next project, the next thing we get to build, is our sliding rolling pantry thing, which there's lots of plans on Pinterest on how to do that and stuff like that. So I don't think that that will be a really weird one. There's not a lot on how to build a custom drawer that has to fit perfectly, you know, and all this kind of stuff. So we kept having problems too, where like sometimes it would be off a little bit. One of the pieces of wood were bowed, so it was a problem with that. You know, like if everything is not perfect, the drawer will not pull out. This thing, we can have a couple of little imperfections in it, and it won't be so difficult, but the drawer was definitely a big pain that we had to get through, and we did, which is awesome. And it, again, still works. It's not perfect. It's not the most beautiful thing on the earth, but it pulls out, it stores things, doesn't fall in, you know, it can hold probably up to 100 pounds, you know, if need be. I don't think that we really will get to that point, but the other one was so horribly messed up, guys. It was just, the track was broken, so that's what caused it to actually bend down at one side in the back. And for years, I don't think we realized that it was broken because it kept working, but it would slide out really weird. And my dad knew that there was like weird stuff up with it, and like was always like, we have to replace this, probably ever since we first moved into the house. But again, that was like 19 years ago. It was just something that we were like, well, you know, it still works. It hasn't, you know, the drawer hasn't just completely broke, you know, we're fine. But no, finally decided with the whole kitchen thing that we were gonna just replace it, make a new one. And we did, which is, like I said, kind of something to be excited about, that we got that whole thing done, because it's something that's, I think, a little bit more complex than it just being like, we're just making a box and putting it in here. I mean, every little detail had to be right too, especially with the type of track that we used, because it is that soft close. Like if we were just to use a regular rolling track, I think we'd have a little bit more play and give and stuff like that, but because it's so sensitive, it was something that was really tough to deal with. So anyways, guys, I'm watching the Cubs game because the Cubs are playing like a preseason summer camp sort of thing, now that baseball's starting back up, so I'm watching that right now. I finished writing my paper today as well. I think I'm gonna add a couple more like wrap-up sentences that I just need to, like, a conclusion sort of thing. But other than that, I'm done with that. Tomorrow's supposed to be cool out as long as it's not raining. I'm hoping that I can get up early so I can get into the garden and do some weeding, because some of the plants or some of the beds look like they definitely need to be weeded. But I've only done it once so far this year, and it's mid-July, so it's no big deal to me. It's just that obviously it's been 90+ degrees out every day, and then when it's not, it's the days that it's raining. So I'm gonna try and get out there and do that, but I'm going to try and wrap up and get some of the like dishes, laundry, and stuff like that actually done tonight, so that I don't have to worry about so much of that, my extra things that I normally get to on, you know, a Monday and stuff like that, which is sort of catch up on the dishes, although I did the dishes yesterday, and laundry and stuff like that. I just want to make sure that I'm like ahead of that. So if I don't get to any of that stuff tomorrow because I'm out in the gardens working all day, it's okay because I actually took care of it all tonight before I went to bed. So it's actually not super close to my bedtime yet. But I'm gonna stay up until the Cubs game's over anyway. So anyways, guys, I'll see you all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye, guys.